Well, now we'll quickly begin with the first session for this afternoon, which is on Invest Smart, Build Right, business and technical due diligence for fintechs and investors. The speaker for this session is Mr. Vikrant Kulkarni, Principal Consultant, The Digital Fifth. Let's have a round of applause for him and let's welcome him here on stage, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Welcome, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining in. So due diligence is something we have been practicing along, right? Because there are two aspects of it, right? So which I would like to cover in a few minutes. Is like due diligence is from the both sides. One side it's investor view, on the other side it's a view from the fintech as well. So there is self-diagnostic also which will happen, right? Where the team would, the fintech itself want to assess themselves. That's why we try to do this projections with multiple companies strong together. So the question would be like, why tech due diligence is required? So from the perspective is like, see, in the fintech world, it's given that the technology is something which is driving the businesses, right? If you have great technology, definitely you will be able to scale it better. You will be able to provide a secure environment for the businesses, and that's the way the trust also would come from the customer. So it's not only the technology, its relation to business also takes a part here. So maybe from the perspective is like, what would be the largely things that would be being focused upon is like what you do from the perspective in the technology which affects the business. So largely there will be some of the things like what is the architecture that is being followed. Is it in line with the business? Like when you see from the perspective of the technology side, is it going in synchronization with the business altogether? Because see, not everybody will have to have the microservices architecture altogether, right? Because it is itself is a microservices architecture has its own what you can say challenges and the benefits which are there. So not everybody will go for microservices architecture, but you may have monolithic architecture, or you have the architecture which is service oriented, but good enough to have it for the using of the businesses altogether. So that is where this particularly this segment or this particular technology due diligence takes place. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So I was talking about what are the questions which we largely look out for. What needs to be answered? Like, is the tech investment is providing expected outcome? It's like we build a stack of say cloud-based stack and everything else is there, but business outcome are not matched, right? Because business needs something else from that perspective. So you are very high tech, but business model is not that sustainable or scalable altogether. Is the technology aligned with the business model? So the example which I was giving in like. So we have been seeing some of the companies during the due diligence where the focus would be more on the business side, and technology is okay, right? The business, the show runs always, right? Because technology has always that sort of what you can say the support of backend, right? Which always helps you to run the business. But the question would come like, is it scalable? Because scale is something where the things will get changed, because the thing which you are working today may not work in near future, may not work in next few days also, right? Because it's a product. The product, if it gets popularized in the market, the scale will happen immediately. So you have to have that vision as well while you are doing the due diligence as such. And is the journey is in line with the market which is there. So just now we had a session on the home loan in the other room. Where we were discussing about how the home loan journey has got evolved and how it is going to evolve further as well, right? So looking at that, if you have technology stack which will support the APIs, which will support at least to have third-party integrations, then it's a different thing. But if you don't have, then you need to really look at it. So these are the aspects which you need to look at it, where this particularly due diligence will focus or help upon. And again, it's tech designed to support the business requirements as well. Likewise, many times it happens that some businesses has very unique requirements. Likewise, we were working one of the microfinance institution where their requirement was pretty different. So it was in the field application, online, offline mode, etc. Those things will be happening, but it is supporting the business as well. So that is something that needs to be looked at it. And the future, of course, having the support for the future requirements is something which is very much important when we are doing the due diligence altogether. So these are some of the questions which somebody has to look at it. How these questions can be treated further, right? Is the reason would be one is from the funding perspective. So likewise, when we have examined few of the companies, like for the due diligence perspective of the technology stack, what we understood is like from the funding perspective, they need to make sure that the scalability will be there, or the merger or acquisitions are happening there. You need to make sure that the other company which you are going to get into the portfolio has a good technology stack. So that is where this due diligence takes place. And the self-assessment. Self-assessment, I would have a different view altogether, because this is very much important thing to have it as such.
I mean, why is because the things are changing really fast. So if we know today where the tech stack is there, and it's serving the business purposes altogether, but that may not be the case in the near future. So within a month or within a few years, you may find that you need a new stack altogether, and making that much of investment at any point of time is very difficult. I'm sure many of you have gone through this journey at one point of time. Yeah. So that's the reason having self-assessment is always helpful. So what are the focus areas would be while doing this due diligence? Largely it will be platform capabilities, how much platform has evolved, what are the capabilities they have picked up in, what is the architecture being used. So is it the architecture which is scalable, secured, as well as it has opportunity to embed into the new business requirements which are coming in. So many of the times these things have been seen that people have opinions that this has been taken care during the project or during the serving the business requirements. But if architecture is long, believe me, it is going to impact you not in a very near future, but in the long future for sure. So that is where this becomes a very important thing. Integration capabilities, again, we have been hearing about APIs all over, right? So is the tech has that capability to integrate with multiple, third-party partnerships. Likewise, when we talk about India stack, so if I'm not able to accommodate if I'm not able to accommodate basic API integration of say Aadhaar or PAN verification, it's very difficult, because the process will again fall in line for the manual process. Manual process always comes with the paper. Paper comes with audit. Audit comes with the backdrop for the back-end process to manage that audit, and so on. Right, so this thing is something that needs to be taken care of. Cyber security, regulatory compliance, I don't think I need to talk about it, because everybody has seeing the impact of it, not following the guidelines. From that perspective, everybody is seeing the impact of it. So that is something which has definitely been there. And the data validation. So this specific piece, we were able to identify some problem into one of the tech due diligence which we had done. So everything was good. The platform is superb. The architecture is microservices based, and again you have the cyber security guidelines followed. Everything is followed properly. But we had one engagement where we had gone beyond that to validate the same things in the data also. Because if everything is fine, then it should reflect in the data, because that is something which is being used altogether. So having that data validation properly, checking if left and right both things are been followed or not, is something which is very much important. So that becomes another crucial part of this due diligence. So due diligence should not happen till the architecture and only the tech things. It should go back and check the data also. is the data in line with that? Likewise, be it audit data or be it the data which is being stored in the your shallow databases as well as active databases. So in the commercial, the other side is of the due diligence is commercial as well, where you look at what is the business model that is being followed, what is the strategy that is being followed altogether, and as well as commercial models and regulatory compliances. So these are the basic things which we take care of at the place when the due diligence happens. So the next question would be how this has been done. We have been talking about it, so that's the reason I'm just skipping it for a moment. Yeah, so these are the few things which you need to look at it all together. So likewise, current and future business models you need to explore. How are they going to support the current stack altogether in the due diligence area? As well as you have to understand the data flow journeys. There is a journey which happens in the front end where customer experiences. There is another journey which happens in the back end where the data flows. So that journey also needs to be taken care of or need to be checked altogether. And the focusing on the security, as I said multiple times during this session, cyber security and regulatory compliance is something where you should have hard block. No means no, right? There is nothing called as maybe in regulatory or cyber security. It's always yes or no. Yeah, that needs to be taken care
that's
of.
a very good question. So Shashank, what has happened is that, you know, over time there were some, as I said earlier, that some data points which were not available electronically, right? Some of those have started becoming available electronics, right? So if you look at account
I think
aggregator,
there is some
banking data coming online, or if you're looking at Aadhaar and so on, then the entire India stack basically,
I
right?
think we
So
are
you have all of
hearing
these
session
data
from
points
the
which are
other
coming
room.
digitally. But if you still think of a secure lending journey, right? It's not just these 2 documents or 3 documents or 5 documents, right? So it's a bunch of 20, 30 documents. That is where the real challenge comes in, from a customer experience from a point of view, or be it from an underwriting point of view, right? And we've seen in our experiences that over time.
Am I audible? Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah. So how to understand what is going to happen in the future is another one thing which needs to be taken care of, and align with the business and tech strategy. So these are the few things which needs to be taken care of as a part of due diligence altogether. Always the suggestion would be it should not be only business side, it has to be technology side also, and the reason might be different. Likewise for the funding purposes, or as having a self-assessment, just like the way we do during our what you can say when we go to the doctor. Either we go to the doctor when you are not well, or you go to the doctor where you want to make sure that every 6 months or every year you do your test, right? So the due diligence is very in similar fashion. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining for this session. And in case of any queries, due to little time couldn't cover many of the things, we can connect back outside as well whenever possible. Yeah.